Hey there, Lovecraft Cocktails coming in from the HukiLau in around the Fort Lauderdale area, Pompano Beach in Florida. But we're here. We have cocktails. We've had, so on the show, I've made drinks from the Mai Kai, from Mai Kai recipes, but I've never actually had a drink from the Mai Kai until now, and now I have. So we're here, and hopefully there'll be further updates through the weekend. There we go. Well, hello, it's Lovecraft Cocktails coming to you day 2 at the HukiLau, and look, I finally get to meet him in person. It's Matt Pietrek.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh
it's
my
Matt!
God.
Yay! There we go.
Different run here. This is the traditional or the traditional line. All right. We have, as you say, the best seller and the Big Papi, which is the Reserva Exclusiva. But we have a special treat. Yeah. We have a special treat today with these 3 different runs. Okay. These 3 different runs are the base that we use to make this drink. This is what we call distillery collation.
It's the end of day 2 at the HukiLau, and we have finished the cabana parties. We've got Sunken Harbor Dinner Club with Garrett as the head bartender. Great drinks from him. Inferno Room just always does a wonderful job. Don Q did a cabana room, set up like a seaplane crash, which was pretty awesome. There was another bar, I don't even remember the name, that did almost like a crime scene, 1940s film noir kind of thing. Yeah, pretty cool. Stood in a lot of lines, but had a lot of fun. Picked up a sweet mug from the Don Q party, and life is good, but we're tired. We need some sleep, and we're gonna go shove our feet into some cold water in the tub and bring some swelling down, and then we'll be back at it tomorrow for day 3, the big day. So we'll see you all later. Day 3, sucking up a little air conditioning after going through the marketplace. Sat down, watched a little bit of a conversation discussion with Dave Wendrich talking about tropical drinks. I saw a few things at the marketplace that were kind of interesting. Some lamps that we're not going to carry back, but we may get shipped back. We have hair pieces. I got a new shirt. You know, little things like that. But I think we have a little bit of a break. We may investigate the pool later today. Who knows? Maybe the pool, maybe some other form of water. You know, they actually have salt water here, right? Maybe. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But this is day 3, the big day, and we'll see you later. So there's lots to do at the HukiLau. You can hang out, you can drink, you can go to shops, you can talk with people about other Tiki-esque things. But every once in a while, you just need to kick back, relax a little bit, go in the ocean, lie on the beach, soak up some sand. And that's what we're doing for about another hour or so till we get up and head off to our next adventure. Yeah, day 3. Nice. Well, good morning, Tiki friends. It is Sunday. It is day 4 of the HukiLau, and sadly that means I get to use my catchphrase, which is the end is nigh, and we are packing up. So, but we thought what we would do is give you a little scan of things that we have gathered in our trip here. How's that? I just made you ill, didn't I, by doing this? All right, we're going to take this one at a time. We're going to take a look at a new book here, Polynesiacs, Tiki at Home. This is a collection of home tiki bar pictures and write-ups by Tiki TomTom, and also new to that book is a signature by Tiki TomTom, who did a presentation on it. Obviously, we have our little swag bags here from the HukiLau. Diplomatico rum was well represented as a sponsor, and we've got this nice little mesh hat here. This hat is not new, but this guy is new. This is from the bazaar, and he just clips onto, well, pretty much whatever you want to clip him onto. So that's kind of cool, kind of neat. Let's see what else we've got here. This was just free swag. Yep, an LED necklace with flamingos. I thought Star really needed that one.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have. Well, let's scan over to the mugs. So here's the official HukiLau mug. All right, so I'm gonna reach down here. Look at this. Very, very nice. 20th anniversary of the HukiLau. Aloha. Very nice mug. Very, very cool. And of course, you saw the kombucha mug here. Right, this guy earlier, if you were taking a look at the account. And then we'll pan over here. Yeah, we're already going into the suitcase, if you couldn't tell. The motley collection of swizzle sticks from various places. Don the Beachcomber, the Mai Kai, Hidden Harbor out of Pittsburgh, Tiki Tatsuya, that's right, Tiki Tatsuya. Various pins are on hats. We also have this Don Q pin here. This is a hair clip that Star got. The HukiLau 20th anniversary shot glass. These are just various things that people serve us drinks in. So there's a can of piggyback whiskey.
That was with a Lapsang.
Yeah, the little Lapsang tea drink. Yeah, that was quite yummy. A couple of Don Q plastic glasses, and then we come down to my hat where we have some new additions on it. So we have the Hale Manu. We have this little guy here. Oh, we're gonna lose the focus. There we go. Him. Hey Hey is not new. Hey Hey's always on there. Usually describes me after a bout of drinking. And we have this little tiki guy, and then Camp Tiki Wachi.
Tiki Wachi.
Which was that produced by the Luau
Bare
Labs?
Bones.
By Bare Bones Tiki, right?
Right.
And they did a program all weekend long. That was very cool. So this
You
is
have another one.
I have another one.
Side of this hat.
What did I do? Oh, that's right. We ran into we ran into folks on the elevator.
Yes,
was it?
yeah.
On the elevator, and swapped pins with them. So this is a Clearwater Beach pin, which, unbeknownst to them, like one of our initial dates between Star and I was in Clearwater Beach.
Yeah.
And so Bar Tiki, we didn't get to Bar Tiki at the time, but
And
but it's a
these
thing.
we brought with us.
Yep.
But we have a new signature.
We have new signatures.
And this one has Carrie's signature as well.
Sorry. Oh, that's not. There we go. So Minimalist Tiki.
And we finally met Matt.
We met Matt
Face
and
to face.
Carrie, and we have signatures from both of them. Garrett Richard was here, so our the newest of our Tiki books prior to coming here was Tropical Standard, and we now have Garrett's signature, and got to meet Garrett and chatted with Garrett a little bit. And then the indomitable David Wondrich was here, and we got him. I pulled him away from buying things in the bazaar to sign my book. I know it was kind of rude, but we did it anyway.
And Beach Bum Berry is here, but we did not have any Beach Bum
We
Berry
didn't have any
books.
new Beach Bum Berry books,
weren't
so
signed, so-
yeah, so that's about
What
it.
a problem.
Yeah, well, no, it just means I need more Beach Bum Berry
Yeah,
books. That's my thought. All right, so
I'm gonna take this.
she's taking this. Right, yep.
Pooch has a new shirt.
A new shirt.
Yay.
It's purple. Star loves purple. It's a light purple, which is going to be great because it's warm out.
Yeah.
And so this all has to go in and get packed, and then we've got a brunch, and then we're hanging out for a while,
And then
we
we're
will
going
do
to the
the
airport.
official broadcast at that point, which is It's going to be an aborted.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put this together with some various pictures and stuff like that and post it. So.
Yep. All right. So there we go. The end really is nigh.
A grand old place is always fair to see. I'm just a little while, a homesick island.
Pompano Beach, Florida. We're gonna make a cocktail from a vintage recipe book here from 1969.
Here we go. We're live, day 4 at the HukiLau, or not so much day 4 at the HukiLau.
Hang on,
because pretty much it doesn't look like there's really anybody around. We just met one last couple. They're local. I don't remember her name. Chris is his name.
Yeah.
They were just here. They've been coming here for like 7 years, but they're local to the area, so they can just kind of hang out and do whatever. But you know, for us, we're DC, so we've got to fly back home, which is why we can't be with you mixing up cocktails, because, well, I don't have all my bar equipment to clean up my bar after making cocktails, and that's what we would have to do.
We have
And that
an
would be-
Elizabeth.
We have one. We have Elizabeth. Thank you. We have somebody watching. The shades, because it actually is pretty bright out. I mean, you can see there's outside right there, palm trees, pool, whole bit.
We swam in the ocean.
We did. We swam in the ocean. You can probably tell I've got like a little bit of a whiteness around here, and the forehead was a little red this morning.
We have Sarah and Bill.
Howdy, 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 Sarah and Bill. Elizabeth, we usually start with a toast, right?
Yeah.
So what have we got for a toast? We're trying to get rid of some of the rums that we have because we brought, several rums. Oh, scoot over. Are you gonna?
Sure, I'll sit here and
sit
toast
here?
with you.
All right. I'll get into the red dot that isn't there, right? So this is yours.
Excellent.
And you are drinking
Cotton and Reed
Cotton
PX.
Reed's PX, which is Pedro Jimenez cast dark rum, and I am drinking the 2008 Barbados Foursquare, the 12-year. This is coming in at 60%, so this is pretty darn hot.
We're
That's
not driving
40%.
because we're flying on the big plane.
If we're driving, something's really gone wrong.
Yes.
So there we go. Ta-da.
It's been fun sharing different
All
rums
sorts
and
of
stuff
things,
with
yeah.
people. Got to meet some amazing people. So there is, loaded onto the page, a 20-minute video of pictures and videos and stuff over the weekend.
Yeah.
So after this, take a look at that. I threw it together and edited it and
Yeah,
threw it
she's
up
my
this
editor.
morning.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
We got to see and listen to broadcast talks from Garrett Richard, from Sunken Harbor Supper Club in New York City, and Matt Pietrek, the cocktail wonk, rum wonk,
We got
Jeff
to meet him
Beachrum
and his
Barry,
wife, Carrie,
right?
in face.
Tiki Tom Tom,
Right. Dave Wondrich.
Dave Wondrich, Spike from Spike's
Yeah,
Breezeway,
Spike's Breezeway.
who's last I looked is right over there in
In
the
the-
bar,
yeah.
drinking, hammering back a few more. He did a live broadcast this morning from the brunch at the HukiLau, which was very cool. And we ran into last night, or yesterday afternoon, while we were paddling around and swimming,
The Swinging Palms.
the Swinging Palms, who have like an incestuous relationship with those straitjackets, apparently.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so like we're paddling around in the water, chatting with them, which how cool
We're wearing
is
our
that?
name tags.
Yep, these things were a big hit. So I'm going to suggest that if you go to conventions, whether they're a Tiki convention or something else, these kinds of name tags are really awesome.
Yeah.
They look professional, so I guess they kind of are, right? And they've got a leather backing and just a set of magnets here, so you can put them on anything, including like hats and that sort of thing, and they will stick and they're not going to punch holes in your clothing, anything along those lines. But the number of people that just came up and said, "Pooch," and I'm of course like, "Who? What?" And they're like, "Your name tag." And I'm like, "Oh, right." Yeah.
Yeah, especially a convention that does not do name tags
or name badges, right?
Right.
So that's the other thing about HukiLau is so in order to know that you actually belong to the convention, they have these little sort of fiber. They're not the usual plastic or paper icky things. These are actually fiber, and this plastic piece slides up. The different colored bands indicate different colors of membership. But so it's kind of inobtrusive, doesn't mess up like your outfit or anything along those lines. But at the same time, there's no room on here for your name, so nobody knows who you are. And so, that can be kind of strange. How do you get in touch with people, or who is that? But
We gave out a ton of buttons.
Ton of buttons. I was like, oh, we'll grab a couple of handfuls of buttons, and Star's like, no, bring
the bag.
So we brought the bag, and it was a good thing that we did. So Star mentioned that we actually got to meet Matt and Carrie Pietrek in person, and that was tremendously fun. We sat with them at the brunch today, which was great, and chatted and told stories, and just good stuff. They're good people, and we like them. But I will say that as in sort of most other fandoms, and it turns out most other things that we're involved in, there is a bit of an issue even within sort of the Tiki culture and the rum cultures of separating people from the products that they produce. There are various disagreements in the Tiki world and in the rum world, and some people have personalities that rub other people's personalities the wrong way, or things have gone sideways, and so I'm drinking a Foursquare, but there was not much Foursquare drunk at our table at brunch. We'll just leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that, yeah.
But it just goes to show, on a more serious note, I really don't think that all of our various fandom cultures have come to grips with exactly where to draw those lines between the person, the personality, and the artistic work that they do, or whatever other work that they do, and whether the one strike and you're out sort of culture is where we need to be. But there was...
We're Lovecraft cocktails.
We're Lovecraft cocktails. We've doubled down on the whole problematic thing.
Right.
And so, one of the things I always say about Lovecraft cocktails when people try and talk to me about the fact that Lovecraft was an absolute racist is he actually was, no doubt. And this is great because we can't bring up Lovecraft without having that discussion. And how did that instill itself into his work in positive and negative ways, and be able to have that conversation in a building way. And I think that's where we need to go, but sometimes it's really, really hard to separate the artist from their works.
And there are some that I
said,
won't.
this 2008 Foursquare is really yummy.
Yeah.
So that's tasty. What else did we bring? We brought the Clarion Communal, 43%. So this is a Haitian rum product. This is made from sugarcane. It is a combination of 4 different villages producing the Clarion. Very, very tasty, but also it's like fresh young rum agricole turned up to 10. Because it's just got all of those notes of the rum agricoles, but just like really, really built up there. What else did we have? That's the PX. That's the Foursquare. No, it's not the Foursquare. This is one of the other things. So I broke out the Eminente, right? So this is our Cuban Eminente that friends of the show, Matt and Gabby, were wondrous enough to bring back from Europe for us. It turns out that the Eminente 7-year happens to be one of Carrie's favorite rums. So, who knew? But I'm sure that helped. And then last but not least, we brought Yes, I'm shaking this. Why am I shaking this? Because maybe you can see, I don't know. I'll look over here. Yeah, you can see it's got sparklies in it.
It's the
This is
Don
the
Cicciofili.
Chichiafilu's Amaro, Sweet
Tutti
Amaro,
Frutti.
their Tutti Frutti, which was done for Pride Month last year. And since being here, we missed Pride and Pancakes, we missed the Pride March in DC. We thought we should actually carry some of that around with us.
And well, we're in Florida, so
Right, yeah.
we
so,
wanna,
so it all worked
be
out. It was all
blatant.
nice, yes. This was our first year at the HukiLau, and there seemed to be a really good mix of people from that had been here previous years and people that were relatively new, like either this is their first year or first couple of years. So that was nice to have that kind of mix. This was the 20th anniversary of the HukiLau. I didn't quite realize we were stepping into the 20th anniversary. And I believe this is a new hotel for them.
No, they were here last year.
They were here last year, okay. But previous to that, they were at a different hotel. So they're still kind of getting their sea legs a little bit. But the hotel certainly goes all out for them. I mean, you walk in and there's HukiLau decorations everywhere and banners and all that sort of thing.
And you can't tell by the music right now, but this
Oh yeah,
was
they piped exotica and Hawaiian music and surf music throughout the entire hotel the entire time we were here until this afternoon. And once people left from the HukiLau, we went back to this sort of soft adult listening. I don't even know what to call this. Sort of an electronica jazz. So this is not our usual Tiki music that you would normally hear.
Do you want to talk about the difference between HukiLau and Inhulele?
Sure. So Star asked, I don't know if you could hear if Star's microphone's on, probably
Yep.
is. But she asked about the difference between HukiLau and Inuele. So obviously there are going to be differences because HukiLau is held in Florida in June, and the Inuhele is held in Atlanta in January, in downtown. So like there's a difference between sort of urban and suburban. There's a difference between it's cold outside and oh my God, it's so hot out here.
There's an ocean.
There's an ocean, there's pools, so this is a very much more an outside convention. And if you do decide to come to a convention like this, make sure you wear your sunscreen, make sure you hydrate. I was a little shocked given how hot and humid it was and how much alcohol was being consumed. The very rare instances of people having a problem. So evidently people were taking care of themselves and hydrating. Inuhele is all inside. Inuhele is also much more focused on programming. It's a much smaller convention, but here, if you wanted to go to something, you could go to something. There wasn't any like, oh, this is back to back or this, overlapped. Okay, there was some of that if you wanted to go see one of the bands being played and there was a class being taught, but very little of that. Inuele has multiple tracks and you have to decide what it is you want to do and what track you want to follow, because you will miss things that you want to do just because they bump up against other things. Now, I found everybody here to be remarkably friendly and, just had a wonderful time. If you needed anything, somebody was always willing to help out.
Shout out to the ice ferry.
Oh, yeah. So the very first night we were here, a number of the bars were running out of ice, and the bar staff was like running loads of ice around.
The volunteer of the convention.
Right. And this young lady, which we nicknamed the Ice Fairy, she just kept popping up with bags of ice in various room parties, and it was great. And she just thought it was the cutest thing that we nicknamed her the Ice Fairy. She thought it was really nice, and so shout out to the Ice Fairy, whoever you are, we don't know, but you did a great job keeping ice as best you could. They worked you hard, definitely. Where was I? Differences between Inuhele and HukiLau. Inuhele is much smaller than HukiLau. It's like half.
Yeah.
Maybe even smaller than that. I'm not sure. So while everybody is friendly here, there's a lot more interaction with the same people constantly at Inuhele than there is here at the HukiLau. You can meet somebody day one and then not see them for another day. Although, by the end of the HukiLau, there was an awful lot of, hey, I know I met you at some point during this weekend, but I have no idea when or under what circumstances. And for those of us that are like facially recognition challenged, I'm so glad I have a name tag that says Pooch on it. People can go, Pooch. You're like, how do I know you? Yeah, no, it's great. It does help. I mean, I think those are some of the big differences. Here, drinks are flowing pretty much the entire time. Out by the pool, there's a couple of the little bungalows that are set up there. Not bungalows, the cabanas are set up on the side of the pool. And usually one of the sponsors or some of the bars that are doing pop-ups will be serving alcohol and serving whatever their drinks are. And then in the evening, the cabanas, which are on the other pool, on the other sides, right? The bungalows, right? Cabanas are by this pool.
Right.
The bungalows are actually sort of the rooms. They're all done up to do special parties. They're like night parties or evening parties at science fiction fantasy conventions. So that was similar. Inuhele is not so much on the constantly drinking throughout the day, but the room parties are fantastic, and they all center around one big pool, and you just wander around from party to party, which is really awesome and very cool. It gets a little crowded, but it's still very, very nice. Drinks, I think the drinks were on par with each other in terms of quality. There is always going to be something else to drink at something like this. If there's a cocktail that you don't like, don't bother with it. Move on. Go to the next cocktail station, because I'm pretty sure there'll be something that you'll enjoy that'll be here, and you can have multiple of those. It's a great place, no matter which convention you're at, to pick up swag, like shot glasses or just little plastic cups from sponsors or swizzle sticks. I mean, we come back with a dozen swizzle sticks.
Oh, you have a new sticker on your water bottle.
Sticker. Well, it's not new because I did have, so this is the Atomic Grog sticker. Atomic Grog, right? I had one.
You have one on your bar case.
I have one on my bar case because we've got it from, I don't remember how we got the other Atomic Grog one, but we did. So very, very cool there. There was a lot of mixing of cocktails and showing us how to mix cocktails. Garrett Richard brought a very technical approach to the mixing of cocktails, and Spike brought a very, I don't know what I'm doing, kind of attitude toward mixing cocktails, which was pretty hilarious and pretty funny to see them playing off of one another. So that was cool.
Garrett telling Spike he's off by a 1/16 of an ounce.
Right. So at one point, I guess, Spike went to dump some ingredient in the cocktail shaker, and when he did, some of it missed. And Garrett's looking at him like, you gonna fix this? And he's like, oh, well, do I just throw this out? What do I do? And Garrett takes the shaker from him, pours it back into the jigger, and goes, just fill it back up. Like, oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was the first ingredient.
It was the first ingredient, yeah. But it was also booze. So they started with the booze, and it was like, what? No, don't throw it out, right? It was also Kahalo Bay, which like is a relative, you can't get Kahalo Bay. So no, don't throw it out. Yeah, so that was a very interesting thing. There was a couple of panels and discussions about cocktail authenticity and what kind of ingredients they had then and what kind of ingredients they have now and that sort of thing.
There's a tribute to the Filipino bartenders.
Oh yeah, the tribute to the Filipino bartenders was amazing. So you probably don't know, unless you follow Tiki pretty closely, that in the early days of Tiki, a lot of the Don the Beachcomber bartenders working behind the scenes were Filipinos. A lot of the bar staff was Filipino. A lot of the wait staff was Filipino. The front of the house, when it wasn't Don himself, was Filipino. And those individuals went on kind of like a coaching tree to propagate around different other tiki bars and brought Don's recipes with them or variations on those recipes. Some became stars in their own right, and just tracing that history, which, you know, I've known from reading some of Don or some from Jeff Beach's books, but it was just nice to hear it live and to see it talked about, and it was just very, very cool in that regard. I'm gonna have a little more rum because a little parched. On the subject of cocktails and cocktail authenticity, just because you find an old cocktail book does not mean you should follow that recipe. So Spike had a cocktail recipe book that I think he got from Hurricane Hayward.
I think so.
I think so. Either Hurricane Hayward or Garrett. I can't remember who. And it dates back to 1967, so you'd think it'd be pretty safe, except as Spike pointed out, late 60s, you're starting to edge into cocktails are kind of going off the rails a little bit, especially in Tiki culture. And this one was called the Barracuda Bite, and oh my god, it had like a Cuban or Puerto Rican 151. Okay, 67, it would have been Puerto Rican 151.
Although it was 150 rum.
The recipe had 150. They used 151. Don Q 151, I think it was.
Yep.
And vodka. You're all going, lime juice. Right? There was lime juice in it, I think.
Yeah.
I missed part of that. And like a full ounce of grenadine. Like huge amount of grenadine. It was not good. It was so not good. so not good. Yeah, usually when somebody makes a drink and the audience gets the drink and they all sip the drink and it's like, well, how is it? You usually expect at least a smattering of, yay, yeah. But after the look that Spike had on his face, the audience knew, yeah, maybe not so good here. So yeah, that was fun. That was today. We spent a little bit on the beach yesterday, which was nice, popping around in the ocean. Wow, water was so warm. Water was like 75, 77 degrees.
Yeah.
Like I'm a West Coast boy. I'm used to the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is cold. It's just cold. This was so warm. It was unbelievable, which made it really nice to play around in the water all day. Unfortunately, it also is really bad for your sunscreen and very bad for my forehead. But it's all good. We'll get through this.
Yeah.
What else? So we talked a little bit about differences between Inuele and the HukiLau. Again, HukiLau much larger. The sponsorship is pretty good at both of these. We heard of other Tiki conventions, and because we're kind of shopping around trying to figure out which ones we might want to go to in the future, and they did point out that there are other conventions that focus on different things. Some focus on their marketplace. Some focus really heavily on the drinks and the cocktails and the making of those. And Inuele and HukiLau are similar in that regard, that there's a focus on the cocktails. Some it's just on culture.
Right. Some of them are pay per panel.
Some of them are pay per panel. Some of them are pay per cocktail. Some of them have really big sponsors like Bacardi and Kraken and Captain Morgan and that sort of thing. Those you should expect that kind of level of cocktail that you're going to get, as opposed to someplace here where one of their big sponsors was Diplomatico, right, or Don Q. Right? So
I got to do a great Diplomatico tasting.
Yeah,
of their
Star
whole
got to
line.
do a tasting of not just their white, their Reserva, and their Mantuano.
Yeah.
Which are their three basics, but they also did recent releases of each one of the three stills that Diplomatico has. And what comes off of those three stills, they blend to make each one of those other three rum. So it was really nice. Star got to taste those those 6 rums, right? You got to taste all 6?
Yep.
And see comparisons. We have one of the single stills from Diplomatico.
Turns out we have the best one.
Turns out we have the best one. It's like 60 to 70% of what goes into the other bottles. Yeah.
Exclusive.
Well, of
the Reserva.
Reserva, yeah.
Which is
right,
your
just
favorite of the
the
Diplomaticos.
flagship.
So.
Yep. So yeah, rum cocktails. There's a certain amount of the maker crafter experience here. You didn't get quite as much of it as I think we got last year or earlier this year at Inuele on the how to do these various tiki things, not just tiki drinks, but like how to do bamboo matting and how to
Right.
do
There
some
was
of the
a
crafting stuff.
how to make a lei class, and
There was some
how to
knot
tie a
tying
knot
stuff.
tying bottle sling.
Right.
But
there's
it was
definitely
limited
a-
to 30 people, and I didn't make it in time, so
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
And there's definitely an undercurrent of like, well, how do you, if you want to put up bamboo paneling, how do you, if you want to make your own tiki bar, how to do that kind of thing. But that is common to both Inuele and HukiLau.
This one was much more focused on the music. The music
Yes,
was
and Ohana
center.
in New York,
Right.
Lake George,
Ohana
New
by
York,
the lake, yeah.
is supposedly even more centered around the music. So that should be interesting. It's also in like 2 weeks, and we're not going. No.
This year.
This year, right? We may give the livers a chance to recover from what we're doing. I don't want to drag this out too much longer, but I'm not sure I have a whole lot else I can do or say or tell you about HukiLau other than we had a great time. We did not have. I would not say we had an amazing blown out of our socks time, but
Which,
we
to,
made
to
up.
be political for a moment, is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to have a great time, or a very good time. I did not want to be very, very sad that we're not coming back to Florida next year because of their politics. So, there's my political rant.
That said, the HukiLau is in Broward County, which is a substantially blue county in Florida. But this is about, we've now been as political as we ever are on this
Yes.
show, right? We've mentioned, the author and product, dichotomy. We've mentioned pride. We've mentioned Florida politics. So this is for anyone that's tuning in for the very first time. A, I'm sorry, this is not our typical broadcast because usually I'm making cocktails behind the home bar. And B, please, this is not our usual format of politicalness.
They updated the ocean. Ocean is 77 degrees.
The ocean is now 77 degrees. Was it cooler?
Yes.
Okay, it was cooler earlier today. We would not be going into the ocean today because, sand everywhere. Oh
And
my gosh,
we're getting on a
sand.
plane and
Right.
yeah.
And if you've ever tried to rinse out a bathing suit and get it dry in hot, humid air, you know how much that doesn't work.
Elizabeth Green says, love y'all. Susie Hazlow says, thank you for mentioning the Florida issue. Elizabeth Green, my Pride Surfside Sip Straws came in.
Yay.
Y'all use the code Lovecraft and get y'all some
Hey, I don't have any of my Sipside
Surfside Sips.
Surfside sips, my Sipside surfs, my
Yeah.
Sipside Surfside sips straws with me, so I can't hawk them. So thank you, Elizabeth, for hawking those guys. They do a great job. And if we do decide next year that we're going to do a different convention, we might consider doing something out on the West Coast or in the Midwest, which would make it easier to actually meet up with the guys from Surfside Sips,
Yeah.
which would be very, very cool. So we will see you next week, I
From
think.
the home bar,
From
yeah.
the home bar. That is the plan. We're not going anywhere next weekend. At least I hope not. Need to recover a little bit. Need to go home and pet the kitties. Need to rest up a bit for a full week of work. Oh,
And need to go where there is
air conditioning. All right, folks. The end is actually beyond nigh at this point. The HukiLau is well and truly over. Usually the HukiLau ends with everybody moving from the hotel space over to the Maikai for dinner and drinks, but obviously with the Maikai still closed, that's not going to happen. We did get updates on the Maikai restaurant, and they should be open either later this year or sometime next year. And it's been a lot of work. We saw a lot of good things that were done to put together the Molokai Bar, which is at the Maikai, and we are looking forward to at least a soft open sometime, like I said, end of this year, maybe next year. So the flagship will be open again, and at some point,
Hopefully we'll come down and see
hopefully
it.
we'll come down and see it. Yeah. So to all of the people that received our little buttons this week, these last few days, and are tuning in, please tune in again and see me actually making cocktails when I'm a little more at home behind my home bar. And anytime you're in DC, look us up. You can get in touch with us via Instagram or Facebook. Say hi. We'll go take you out to Archipelago, or have a drink at the home bar, or whatever. So that's the kind of family you meet at a place like this. Is everybody is just like, oh, if you're traveling through, come stop by and have a drink. And yeah, it's just that kind of thing, which is just an amazing community to be a part of. So hopefully we will continue to be part of that community. And if you're tuning into this, you by extension are also part of that community. So whatever, mahalo. Mahalo would be the Hawaiian word for thanks. So mahalo for tuning in. Please tune in again. And we will talk to you, at least some of you, next week. And we'll be mixing up cocktails and drinking cocktails. They may still be a little lighter on the ABV than they would usually be. But on that note, as per tradition, I will be drinking more rum and signing off. So here we go. We're ending the live video now. It is really good rum.